So we're going to be making 3 appetizers, and usually they take you 20 minutes, but I talk a lot, so it might take us a little bit longer tonight, so hang in there. The first one we're going to be making and starting off with is jalapeno popper stuffed mushrooms. These are great. They are low carb for all the people in your life that are on one of the many diets people are on, although I don't think this qualifies as Whole30 because it has cream cheese. Paleo, Whole30, no carb, no this, no that. I'm not on any of them because I'm pregnant, so I eat everything. So I really don't care which one we're on. Okay, so we're going to start off with some softened cream cheese because that's the first thing you need for jalapeno peppers, and then of course you need the jalapeno itself. So jalapenos are a funny thing. They have oil on the outside of them. Actually, any hot pepper has oil on the outside of them. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you touch one or you chop it up, and your fingers burn. And then you rub your nose or your lip, and then your nose burns. Or your lips burn. I've also had it where my fingers are burning and I realize that I still have my contacts in, and the last thing in the world that I want to do is touch my eyeball with my burning finger. So I have my latex, non-powdered gloves that I use in the kitchen for things like chopping up jalapeno peppers. Okay, so we're going to do just a little bit of this guy. Obviously my gloves are a little too big here. I haven't found a pair that actually fit. They're either too small or too big. I'm like the Goldilocks of kitchen gloves. If you have a brand that you recommend, please let me know. So I'm going to take out all the seeds. The seeds are going to add a little bit of heat, and we want these to be semi-mild. They're jalapeno poppers, so you want them to have a little bit of heat, put a little bit of sweat on your nose, but you don't want them to be so hot that your guests and your friends can't eat them. And we're just making a small batch today, and this one is a hot jalapeno. I can tell you that right now because I am already feeling it. I'm also going to show you another quick trick. As you can see here, my cutting board keeps swiveling around, so watch this. I'm just going to put down a kitchen towel and put it on top of the kitchen towel, and that's going to prevent it from moving around as much. Okay, so I'm just cutting this into strips, and then I'm going to mince it fairly small. Again, they're going into tiny little mushroom caps, so you don't want the pieces to be too large. Otherwise you'll get a giant bite of jalapeno, and that's no good. Some people, when they want a little bit of a muted heat, will use the pickled jalapenos that come in a jar, and that's okay too. I personally like the crunch that comes with a fresh jalapeno, and it's just a different type of spice, a different type of heat. So you can leave that one up to you. You can also decide how much you're going to add. To do that, you want to test your jalapeno, because every jalapeno is different. Some are super spicy, some are just medium spicy, and some are barely spicy at all, and then you're going to want to add more. So the recipe online has all of the ingredient amounts. I'm just eyeballing it tonight because if you've ever cooked with me, that's generally how I roll, unless I'm actually making a recipe to publish. Okay, so we're going to set this jalapeno aside, I want to be able to use this cutting board to assemble. So I'm all done with my gloves here, like a doctor. Ready? Okay, so the next thing we need is a little bit of cheddar cheese. If you read me regularly, you know that I really like freshly shredded cheese. I also keep around the pre-shredded cheese. It's great for some things. When you're cooking fast, my daughter's eggs in the morning. My daughter insists on having scrambled eggs with cheese on them every morning. Little things like that where you just need a little bit and you need it quick. It's great for it. But if you've ever felt it, it has a different texture. It's a little bit drier, and it's actually tossed in like a cornstarch arrowroot flour type of mixture, so it doesn't stick together. And you'll notice the difference when you shred your own cheese. It kind of sticks together and it might be a little bit clumpy. And that's going to be the big difference there between the shredded cheese and freshly shredded. This has a little bit more moisture in it. It doesn't have that additional flour, so it's actually going to melt better. So for something like this, it's perfect. I have already put together a little bit of a spice blend that's just salt and pepper because I'm using it several times tonight. It just seemed easier to me at the moment. And you can use fresh parsley, flat parsley, not curly parsley, or dried parsley. We're going to use dried tonight just because my daughter woke up from her nap and I didn't have enough time to chop up the fresh parsley. I'm sure the moms out there know how that goes. So I'm just going to mash this together. Super fast, just a couple of ingredients. The most amount of your time is going to be spent chopping up that jalapeno. Some stores you can even buy that kind of stuff pre-chopped, but I like to do it in the moment just because it's a little bit fresher. Doesn't dry out as much. So now we have our mushrooms. So these are just plain white button mushroom caps. I've taken off the stem, I've cleaned the outside so there isn't any dirt or anything. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spoon our cream cheese mixture into the caps. So this recipe is great because you can do all of this before your guests even come. You can do it the day before. Don't be afraid to really lump it on there. That's okay too. And put it in the fridge. And when they come, just pop it into the oven real quick. In fact, you can even do them in batches so that none of them get cold or yucky or gross. So just like a caterer would. I'm a firm believer that if you are throwing the party and you are going to be the hostess with the mostest, that also means that you get to effortlessly enjoy your own party. And quite frankly, that doesn't happen all the time. And that sucks. You don't want to be that person. Grab my pan here. I just have some parchment paper on it. I'm going to be putting 2 different appetizers on one tray. It's just easier that they don't get yucky, and then I can save myself from washing another tray at the end of the night because that's also important too. After everybody leaves, especially for Super Bowl, which is too late past my bedtime to begin with, I don't want to also have to do all the dishes. Now for some of these mushrooms, I don't know if you see this guy right here, he keeps rolling over. If you want to make sure that they sit up straight, just take a little sliver off the bottom there, and then you can ensure that he doesn't continue to do that roll. I'm going to put a little bit more fresh cheese on the top of each one of these. Just kind of stick it in there. It'll stick to the cream cheese. Like so. Again, don't be afraid to get a lot in there. That's fine. They don't have to be perfectly even on the top. I like all the cheese. It adds a little bit more gooiness. If it gets a little crispy on the edges, that's even better in my book.